I want to introduce Jodene to you. The interesting thing about Jodene, I remember when I started on Twitter, and I started on Twitter 31 months ago, almost to the day. And I'd started on Twitter, I had like 10 followers, and there was Jodene, she had 25,000 followers. And I thought, well, she must be the queen of Twitter. And yes, she's probably still the queen of Twitter, and especially in the publicity space and in the new, what we call the new media. So I'm going to hand you over to Jodene, and I'm sure that she's got some wonderful things to share with you this morning. And thank you, my friend. It's lovely to have you here. Okay.
Can I just start off by saying I think I had 5,000? Because now I'm only sitting on 40,000, and Richard is celebrating his 200,000. And my business partner always says it's not a competition, but Richard, you made it a competition.
I'm so sorry.
Gratitude. We had to talk about gratitude. And when Richard got hold of me and said we're going to do something about gratitude, my first reaction was, 2013, I've kind of had to dig really deep on some days to find the gratitude. Because I don't know if it's just me, but it's been a really, really tough year. And the more I thought about gratitude, the more I thought, one of the things that I always say is, when you're down at the bottom, and people say, I couldn't make it, I don't think I was going to make it, I'm not going to make it. My question is, did you get up today? Did you get up? And that starts from gratitude. Sometimes gratitude has to take you, and it shakes you. I know that it shakes me awake in the morning when I don't want to wake up. And then it drags me out of bed, and it kind of throws me in the shower, and then throws me into the world, kicking and screaming. But there is something deep down inside that continues to drive each one of us each day. Something within ourselves, the self-worth, the self-esteem. But for me, more than anything, just that glimmer of remembering that actually we do have purpose, and we do have a dream, and we have a vision of waking up each day to be something and do something. So my first bit of gratitude is to Richard. First of all, I met Richard through Catherine. We had been tweeting, and then I went to a very special, being such a special, I love Miss Earth. And there was Richard taking photographs, and I was going, how's this social media dude taking photographs? And he was kind of going, how come you here? And the thing that I'm most grateful for is that I took the time to get to know Richard. Because Rich, I have learned how very genuine you are, both in everything that you do and in your following, most of all. I think both of us have had to rise above a lot of what happens in the industry and gone, our followers are real. Our intention is real, and we genuinely want to be here. I'm Jodene Shaer, but most people know me as Jodene Koza from Twitter. I own a people development company with an incredible and very patient business partner, Greg. His Twitter handle is, oh God knows, you do need to follow him. He's much funnier than I am. I'm also the founder of a South African hashtag called FollowSA, which has kept itself going. I've managed to keep it going for nearly 2.5 years, which is great for a hashtag. I'm a social media publicist and strategist. But actually, I'm not. I'm none of those things. I'm a teacher and I'm a writer. That's my life purpose. That's what I was born to do. And I would like to take the opportunity to share with you the story about being completely, in the perception of the world, off track in order to get to where you really want to be. If I had to tell people the story of where I am and show them my vision board of where I want to be, chances are people would go, you're completely lost in the world. But actually, I've never been more on purpose than I am right now. About a year ago, we all start off the year and we set our intentions and we know what we want to do and what we want to be, and then all of a sudden the year starts and we get into that space where we're not sure whether our visions were right and our dreams were right. At that point in time, a friend of mine contacted me and said to me she wanted to take me for coffee. And we went to coffee and she said to me, Jodene, please help me. When I look at you, I see that you are on purpose, you are on track, you know what you want to do, you are in the right career, and I need to know, how did you discover that? How did you know what your life purpose was? How did you know what you wanted to do and what you wanted to be? And I didn't know if I could answer her on that day, and I'm not 100% sure whether I can answer you today. But I can tell you some stories about my life journey to show you that some of the greatest life lessons that I've ever learned. I've got a blog called Project Me, and I have a people development company with my business partner. My vision and my purpose and my dream is to get people to know that you can be or do anything that you want to if you put your mind to it, but most of all, if you have faith in yourself and the journey. I always say, you are that powerful, but you're not that powerful. People get really frustrated when I say it, but it's so true. And when I was trying to get my side of the people development company off the ground, how I started was, we all know The Secret, right? We've all heard of it or watched it. Or I was teaching and doing some like archetypes at the stage and a whole lot of stuff. And what I started to realize was people really thought that it was easy to read a book, a self-help book, stick a picture up on the wall, and then they would manifest what the self-help book said that manifest. It doesn't work that way. So I created something called manifestation myths, where I plan to break all of the manifestation myths. And a friend of mine, I was just doing it on Facebook at that stage, and a friend of mine got hold of me and said to me, you're annoying me. You're talking to the same people all the time, start tweeting. This was in 2009. I had never heard of Twitter. So he helped me get online, helped me set up a profile, and then threw me out into the world of Twitter in South Africa, where at that stage no one was on. Gareth Cliff wasn't there, DJ Fresh wasn't there, no one was there, except a whole pile of Americans and international people who were just so willing to help and guide me through the process. I loved tweeting, and I just stuck to the basic concept of what I wanted to achieve. I wanted someone to retweet me, and I wanted someone to follow me, so I did it first, because that is the basis of life. Do what you want someone to do, and you will get it in return. And I did it, and it ended up working out really well. And then we went to go and see the movie Julie and Julia. I don't know if any of you have seen it. If you haven't, you just have to go and see it. It inspired, I'm sure, the majority of the world to cook, but it inspired me to do the crazy thing of blogging every day for 365 days. It sounds like fun. It's a challenge. But it was the first time in my life that I set out to do something, and I did it. And what made it so profoundly interesting was that it was a new business partnership. Greg is not only my business partner, he's my best friend. Everyone says, don't go into business with your best friend. Financially, we took a huge risk. I owned a spa before, so I started off as a massage therapist. Not that kind of spa. And there we were sitting with this huge risk, financial risk, business risk. I am from Jewish descent. It sounds exactly the same as Greek. I also had a path that I was supposed to follow. I am not rebellious, so I do not do what I do to my family to be rebellious. I do what I do because if I am not me, I will fall to pieces. I can only be me. I don't know how to be anyone else. And in that, when the blog started, my family were horrified at what I decided to blog about. I decided to blog about me, Project Me, what it means to wake up every single day and put yourself first, live in your truth, live in integrity. So I spoke about everything. I spoke about financial woes. I spoke about the hardships and madness of being an entrepreneur. I spoke about being single, friends with benefits. I think that's when my mother called me in and said, right. But I did. And what they did as a family was they asked me to not blog about the family at all. which put the initial pressure on the blog, but I kept my promise, and I kept the family drama out of everything. I come from a Jewish family. There is drama. It's a bit of a sitcom. Every week there's a different episode. And then, whilst building the blog and finding my space within social media, I had to confess to myself that I am a workaholic, which is the same as being an alcoholic, because it is obsessive. And something happens in order to make you realize how far you have pushed yourself. And I woke up one morning and I couldn't move. I physically couldn't move. I had sequestrated my L3 and my L4. My discs had literally crashed onto each other. And I felt, I've never experienced pain like that in my whole life. I blogged. There were 2 days when I couldn't blog. And Greg blogged on those 2 days. And I did that. And that made me realize I can do anything. That made me realize I could do anything. First of all, it tested the business partnership and the friendship to that. We have had money stuff that we have not known how we're going to get to the meeting because we don't have petrol to get to the meeting, to make that deal happen. But waking up every day and deciding that I'm not going to go the route that the world wants me to go. And this is where my family, I'm going to step back a little bit. I went to a Jewish nursery school, and I was 6 years old, and we were all sitting, and the rabbi was telling a story about us being God-fearing people. Now, that makes sense completely to everyone individually, but there was something that within me it didn't sit right. Something didn't feel right for me. Not for anyone else, not for my family, just for me. I was 6. And so my journey continued with a battle with the faith and the space that I fitted in. My dad was an incredible man who accepted literally the madness of me trying to discover who I was, and I went through every single religion that there is out there to finally discover that there is this fairy tale world that I believe in most of all, and that there are dragons and fairies and angels and goblins and all of that. It might sound mad, but when I was told that I had to have a backup, there was no way. I was not having that backup. I would do what I know best. I would put my faith and my trust in my belief system, and I would make myself better. There is a twist. Don't worry. I did. I had to have an MRI. Have you ever been in? Have you ever done that? You know you have to lie absolutely, absolutely still with your L3 and L4 crushed onto your sciatic. And they told me if I moved, I would have to redo it. No one else is allowed in that space. They allowed Greg in to stand with me. I've never experienced pain like that in my whole entire life. And I literally visualized and got myself not only out of that, but out of the space that I was in. And I helped myself heal myself. That taught me that I could do absolutely anything. I'm not quite sure whether, I think it was before. Let me tell you how I got onto social media, because it links back. I have a children's book. It's the sweetest story, personally, because I wrote it. Of course I'm going to think it's the sweetest story. It's a story about a little acorn, and all that the little acorn wanted to do was grow up and be the grandest tree in all of the land. And she was absolutely petrified to do it. She was so scared that she couldn't even let go of the branch of the tree in the first stages. And it's a story about a unicorn who says that she has magical powers and gives this acorn magical powers and tells the acorn, as long as you remember these magical powers, you will be able to do and achieve anything. And I have this children's story, and all I want still, till today, I might tweet, I have incredible clients, I do strategy for big brands. I have the opportunity to talk about social media wherever I go. My blog has taken me on an incredible journey. Follow SA has taken me around the country. All I want is for that children's book to be published. That's what I want. Our first bit of money that we had in the partnership, we plowed into creating a children's website. We are sitting with half a developed children's website, completely interactive, based on the book. And I haven't been able to do it. I have not been able to find the illustrator who will take the risk to illustrate the story because I don't have the funds yet to pay them. I thought I'd become so great that I'd be published soon, and it doesn't work that way. So I'm sitting and I hold on to that dream every single day. And that's why I say, I am so off track, but I'm also so on track. The blog, the journey, the book, everything sits and waits for me to eventually achieve it. I'm not one of those people who has to have something today. Actually, what I've done to myself is I've convinced myself that I don't need anything. And most of all, I got myself in the space where I believed that what I had was good enough. So I took my social media power, and it is a decent power, and I started to get things for free. I'd get hotel accommodation, I'd get restaurant vouchers, I got cars that I wanted to drive, and then my very wise business partner said to me, Jodene, that free car that you have for the next week, you can't give it to the bank manager. You still have to make money. And I didn't know how to do that. I had no clue how to make money. And that's where the adventure began. I'm determined to be different. And each one of us should be determined to be different. Each one of us, in an industry, any industry that you are in, there is something where you are so unique that you offer something to people that nobody else can offer. I sit with big brands. And we do all the stuff. I've got marketing, I've got PR, I've got everyone there. And I go, you're not allowed to use marketing talk, you're not allowed to use PR, you're not allowed to say any of that. Tell me how you are different. Tell me what you have to offer as a brand that nobody else has to offer. And you see MDs like go, we have no idea what it is if we take the marketing out of it, if we take the PR out of it. Who are we really? Who are we as a brand? Who are we as a people? And one of the greatest gifts I ever gave myself, and if you take anything away from today, take yourself to some quiet space or some noisy space and just go and find out what makes you so unique that no one else can offer it no matter what. No one else can give that no matter what. And in an industry where everyone has jumped in and there are social media experts, gurus, professionals, strategists, everything, I knew that there was something unique that I had to offer that nobody else can offer. And we strategized, and Greg and I tried as much as we could to stick to our guns and only follow what our uniqueness was. And we continued to fail over and over again. Whatever we tried didn't work. Follow SA is an incredible opportunity for me to show South Africa how we can all link together. It's a hashtag. The point of it is to create an online community so that you can go offline and make something happen. It is unique. To this day, it still has a unique essence to it. But no matter how we tried to make money off it, we couldn't make money off it. And the first opportunity that I was given was something very mainstream. It was taking on the social media account of a company, of a brand, which I was determined I would not do. This is not what I was going to do. Until I remembered that my uniqueness will always make it that no one else will be able to do what I do. I think that this happened at the point in time where literally we didn't know how we were going to get to that meeting. We had pushed ourselves so financially far in being stubborn and not being prepared to go with the flow of life, and most of all, have a little bit of faith in the process. That when we finally surrendered and both had a little faith in the process, work just flowed in. Amazingly, I am doing exactly what I said I wouldn't do. Having the greatest time with brands who are allowing me to bring my uniqueness in. And I have grown so much, and my business partnership have grown so much that I have finally taken on an assistant. And if any of you have a business, how many of you have a business? Have you had to hire staff yet? Isn't it like thrilling? And then petrifying, because now you have to pay a salary. So we do that. We have enough. We have enough to pay a salary. And the thing that I am most excited about is that I don't want to be 70 years old, sitting at my beach house, which is on my vision board, writing my second or third novel, because I have a first novel that is incomplete. I'll tell you why. I don't want to be 70. I don't want to do that. I want it soon. And hiring the assistant and having the incredible business partner and having these clients who have so much faith in me, I'm going to tell you my plans for next year so that you can watch this space and see what happens. Next year, I'm finishing my novel. It is a story specifically about, and I wrote it before my injury actually, I am extremely spiritual. I do believe in the power of healing. I believe strongly in it. But I do not believe, and this is where I say you are that powerful, but you are not that powerful. You are not so powerful that you cannot rely on modern medicine and doctors and assistants. And the way that I learned that is I was part of a meditation group, and there was an incredibly determined woman who was into shamanism and all of that stuff. And she had an extremely bad headache. And everyone was saying, go to the doctor. And she was smoking peace pipes and throwing ruins and dunking herself in frankincense and all that kind of stuff. And died from meningitis. So my novel is about that very fine line between having to heal yourself but having to rely on modern medicine at the same time. And I will publish that novel. So next year, I am finding time to finish that novel. It's finished. It needs like an edit. And I'm stuck. Anyway. The next thing is, Follow SA is going to become one of the most successful and strongest hashtags and communities that this country has seen. For a hashtag to be going for that long is extremely incredible. And my time will be of my own in order to grow what I want to grow. I love speaking social media, but this is where my passion is. I love going to all of these events and being a part of this new world where sometimes I'm considered a celebrity. But I want to escape to somewhere where I can sit quietly and write and create what I want to create. I want to teach children that it's okay to be born into divorced families. My sister took the incredibly brave step of being single and having in vitro. And she gets a lot of flack for it. But she's been an incredible mother. I want to show kids that although the world might be crazy and not such a pleasant place, there is still opportunity for each one of us to find the specialness within and then create that world around us. So what I'm most grateful for is my belief in myself, to know that I can do and achieve anything that I want to. But I would never have known that if I hadn't have been so down and so flat that I had to pump myself with medication and be put into an office chair to be wheeled to a bathroom, to be helped by family, you have to get that low. You have to get that low. You have to get that low that you have to take that begging bowl and tell your parents that you think your idea is brilliant, but no one else is buying it. However, you're still going to continue to think that it's brilliant. So do me a favor. In all of your gratitude, allow yourself to get that low. And this is how I distinguish madness from living the dream and actually getting it right. When you have nothing, absolutely nothing, and today is the day where you get to decide whether you have to go and beg for something more, or cancel the meeting because you don't have the petrol money to get there, or risk being the fool, or your family saying, I told you so, or whatever. When you get to that point and you realize that there is nothing else that you would do, nothing. We sat for ages. Greg was going to go back into corporate. I was going to go back to doing massage therapy. And we both woke up at the same time, and there is nothing else on this earth that I would do but what I am doing. And if you know that, you get pushed to such a point that you think you don't know it, and if you get past that point, it's amazing what happens. This opportunity for me today is incredible because of where I started and where I want to be. And this helps me go from the path that I'm on, that social media path where it looks so wrong. I have not spoken Project Me in months. So my gratitude is for this exact moment, because this takes that path and puts it together. And I hope for each of you that maybe it's just me who thought that 2013 was a bit crazy. Has anyone else thought that 2013 been a little bit crazy? May we all just have our paths merge for 2014 and just, not that I'm trying to get followers, but if you ever feel like you're on that path and you feel like you're going to fall off, please tweet me, because I will make sure that you stick to it. As long as I ask you the question, and the question is, would you do anything else? And if you tell me no, I will shove you right to the end of the line until you get what you want. So thank you for listening. And most of all, thank you for being here to support Richard, because he supports like you cannot believe. So thank you.